Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are, guys. All right, everyone, thanks for coming out and joining us. I'm the Revelator. My name's St. John, and we are going to kickstart your week, the rest of your week. So I was prepared to do like this whole segment on like the destruction of Hillary, and although I want to do that, the damage is minimal. Never wanted to be so wrong, even though I was partly right. Anyway, as you can see, the title card for this clip, truth versus opinion. See, there's a lot of stuff out there floating around about what this is and what this isn't. And I'm going to tell you what this isn't. And I'm going to tell you what this is. But before I start, I'm going to let you guys see. Exactly what the issues are concerning directed energy weapons and the propaganda involved. In contemplation in the deep thought, the man in deep thought statue, right? He's looking over at it, and it's that pin right there. That was Oklahoma City, for those that don't know. Okay, so he does all this extra stuff. Oklahoma City was the start. When they did Oklahoma City, it was the beginning of the attack on American soil in a way that we will never ever recover from, unless we take. Let's start off with what's been said. Okay, that's what we're going to start off with what's been said. They want you to believe that it's bullcrap. They want you to believe that it's not real. It's not real, guys. That this is all lies. All lies. Okay. As dramatic images of the aftermath of Maui fires widespreads on social media, so are conspiracy theories about what caused it. Okay, I'm going to show you what caused it. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's going on. Okay. But this right here, this first picture, is what they cite. This is not what's circulating on social media. This is a lie. People with any common sense should know that this is a lie. This is not directed energy weapons. You do not see the beam unless they want you to see the beam. And they don't want you to see the beam. Okay? Conspiracy theory wildfires did not have a natural cause. Of course it was a natural fire. Claim images show a directed energy beam that caused the Maui fires. Right? If you're this gullible, right, to follow stuff like this, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. So it just comes into play. I mean, this is where we're at. This is a clip from iPet Goat. We've got the divine masculine running the show on the left-hand side. Divine feminine in the dark on the right-hand side. She's overweight. She's bored. She's waiting. She's in the cut. She's got love on the board. Okay? But you'll see with him, when it first lit up, it was showing the one point of the star pointing on. It's the separation of the masculine and feminine. And the one point of the star was actually pointing on the person hanging on the noose, which is death, dead. So this is the mind control. Okay. Notice it's a star. It's a pentagram. It's pointing downward. Okay. We're going to play a little. Okay. The one thing that it's highlighting right now is an entire section of the United States, including Florida. And you see the shark. The shark is highlighted. That's their weather manipulation programs. It's also their directed energy programs. At times, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to break that down to you. So this is very interesting because if you notice right here, you can see that there's houses that are on fire. It's occurring because of that right there. The programs, right? So it sent me down a rabbit hole looking at that video, right? Looking into the news. I get here because I'm looking into the news, right? Temple Bar, due to flooding, evacuation order being issued for those areas. That's where it made landfall. Let's see what bar is. Because a lot of people don't even know what the definition of the word bar is. They think it's like a place to go get a drink. And I'm not mad at you. It's more than that. If these words are the English bar, the sense is a shoot, which shoots, passes, or is driven. Bar. If these words are the English bar, right? It's not the definition, it's the sense of the definition. The sense is a shoot, that which shoots, passes, or is driven. Okay? Figuratively, any tribunal as the bar of public opinion. Thus, the final trial of men is called the bar of God. Right? That's pretty interesting. That's that. Now, I was a Boy Scout, guys. Okay? I was a Boy Scout. And my mother sent me to Boy Scout camp. And I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I never was molested. I was never, none of that crazy stuff ever went on. We had good times and we learned a lot of stuff, and I learned a lot of trades and skills. Okay? And we had fun. We played pranks on one another. It was good stuff. And you earned merit badges. It was great. I wasn't trying to be a rank and file soldier in life, an order follower, but I did want to understand patches a little bit better too, because I was selling them all over shit, or at least my mother was, right? Even though I got a sewing merit badge, she was still sewing my stuff. right? But when I think of patches, I think of like today. I think of like security patches on like computer systems, right? Like the latest security patch, you know, like what that looks like, how to protect your system. And we're gonna have future episodes about security patches. But here's the one that I'm talking about here. This is the Army, you know, like armypatches.com. Okay, and like, you know, like I went in and I did it this way here, where I was like looking at, you know, shark patch intelligence, and I seen this one here, and it was like a clothing line. I was like, that looks all Illuminati now. But you see all these different sharks with all these different, you know, things going on, right? So I was trying to see. I was thinking to myself, wait a second now, right? If I were to go into patches, right, and I were to like type it in, right, enter gallery, what do I get stuck with here, right? What do I get stuck with? We go search, right? Let's click all the options so that we have them, and we'll go shark. Just saying, right? You got one that looks like the beer bottle over here, right? Get some really interesting looking ones. Very interesting looking ones like this one here. Look at that one. Man, doesn't that look kind of like that shark in the video though? A little bit. Training. It's like a weather manipulation system. And what state is that? Is that Oklahoma? All right. More sharks, more sharks. You see all the sharks, right? Like, so I'm not like, you know, crazy. Like there's patrol squadrons and all this stuff, tiger sharks and all this good stuff, right? But you know, like that's how I started this journey. And you'll notice there's like 75th. Like they're known as the sharks too. Like if you guys research any kind of military history, you'll find that the sharks are, you know, like they were them boys, right? They would come in and handle their business, right? So here is a 75th Fighter Squadron A-10, right? And I'm like trying to put these things together in my mind. Like, what does this mean? Like the shark, you know, like what's going on with the house and the fire at the house and the shark, right? Here we go, right? Look at this one. This is an A-10 Thunderbolt, right? Remember, it's the Son of Thunder telling you that it's the A-10 Thunderbolt, right? It's got shark teeth on it. It's kind of cool, but that's not exact. None of this is exactly what I've been looking for. So when you type in shark under directed energy weapons, just the kind of stuff you get like all these different things. I clicked on a bunch of them. So let's go through a few, shall we? Let's start with what they say, okay? Because they're the ones developing the technology. I mean, if I'm going to listen to anybody first, I'm going to look and see what they actually said before I listen to anybody else's opinion. So it's citing movies, right? Now it's going to actually explain to you, right? According to the DoD's Joint Publication 313. What's that? It's an umbrella term. DE. Umbrella term covering technologies that produce a beam of concentrated electromagnetic energy or atomic or subatomic particles. A DE weapon is a system using DE primarily as a direct means to disable, damage, or destroy adversary equipment, facilities, and personnel. Okay, military action. Right? You see this? Now, destruction and disruption. Right? Damage, destruction, and disruption. So think of a laser pointer and a flashlight, right? Coherent signal color. The flashlight is a broad spectrum light. Because of its coherence, laser light can stay concentrated for very long distances, even thousands of miles into space. However, but with laser weapons, instead of thinking in terms of laser pointer, the mental image should be more like a powerful long-range blowtorch. Does it right here. Right? Their words. Looks like a lot of what we saw, right? Like, I don't have to get too complicated. They can launch 4 of these things off of the bow of a boat. They can launch 4 of these things off of the bow of a boat. And they'll go for 4 hours at 50 cents a target. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. It's okay. Don't believe me. There was all kinds of good stuff in that article. Get around to reading it. Seriously. And then, I mean, if you're an enthusiast and you really are serious about it, here's what our government has said, right? Looked into this a little bit. Nothing that I want to talk about. You know, they show you these big-ass ones. But I know they got little ones. Right? The report to Congress. See what I'm saying? What's it saying here? It says, this report provides background information and issues for Congress on DE weapons, including high-energy lasers. Look at the name they're using. Hells. I thank my new sponsor, Uncle Bob's. You can see he's got a little ad we put up here. Don't give up, guys. It's getting close. Notice that all the topics are like, the duality is like so extreme. It's like so far this way versus so far that way. And it's morality right in the middle. So stick with your guns, you know, like, pardon the pun, but stick with your intuition, man, of what's right and what's wrong in most situations. DE weapons, including high-energy lasers. Look at the name they're using. Hells. Hells. That's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy, insane. Implications for future war. Arms control agreements, right? You're either on board or you're burnt. Burnt like toast, too, it looks like. Right? And here's this. Let's make it bigger. I can't even read it. Go back to the top. And here's this. Now I told you I was bringing you everything, right? So this is what's really going on, guys, right? All this stuff here. What's it say? The Ponce instead of the Pence. Right? The Ponce was the first one that they claim used this. Okay, back in 2014. But there's been show and demonstration that it was used in Baghdad. There's even been testimony that it's been used in Baghdad in Operation Desert Storm. Operation Desert Storm, the designation of storm was that they controlled the environment, they controlled the atmosphere, storm. And they brought it, man. Now, they didn't do all their fighting that way, but they did a select amount of it, enough where they felt they were comfortable understanding the technology and how it's used, and they wanted to study the effects of what happened. And they were not disappointed. Okay? They were not disappointed. There's just more to see, guys. Just more to see. Plenty of articles that you can go and read. Plenty of articles, right? Let's go ahead. Right, United States. What's it say? Task Force Report. All 2022. Right. Overview. DE weapons include high energy lasers, hell. Right? Hell on Earth, right? And, let's see. Hell on Earth, hells. It says, although a number of different types of hells exist, many of the United States' current programs are solid-state lasers, which are fueled by electrical power. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. They just took their half $1 billion budget and turned it into a $3 billion budget. That's not black ops. That's on the books record for people like this talking about it, right? This guy with his unbelievable history, right? Talking about it. Okay. So you can just type in very simply the search terms directed energy weapon and do your own research. I highly recommend that you do. Do not take my word for it. Go and find your own information and come to your own conclusions, right? This is the kind of stuff they highlight to add to lasering, right? It's all like, we show it to you, we debunk this, we debunk that, right? What's this? DevCon. So let's go back. Let's see what this is. This is like this reminds me of the typical vehicle that's used by police departments today. They're SWAT teams, right? You see it's got the capabilities, right? There it is. So it's very real. There's a lot of money involved, right? There's a lot of information out there that shows it's real, right? This one here is a little different. Let me see here. Hold on. There's a reason why I did this one. Effectively strike. Okay? Affordability critical targets at the speed of light, right? And then what's it say here? Freedom to operate and maintain satellites in space is a critical component of our national security. The U.S. Air Force assists in achieving this freedom, in part by maintaining an awareness of the locations and capabilities of all man-made objects in space. Okay? Starfire optical range. Okay? Missions. What's it say? Engagements. All engagements. Space gives the warfighter a competitive edge in virtually all engagements. Tactical high-power operational responder. Now, this is the one right here, right? This can be covered with a dome to look like a WDR-88. It can be covered with a dome. But this is a portable truck or a trailer that's pulled by a truck. Okay? This one here is unbelievable what this could be utilized for. I've researched this one. $18 million, right? The cost of firing these things is pennies on the dollar, right?
It provides a non-kinetic defeat of multiple targets at the speed of light. This unique system allows base defense forces to stop UAS attacks at long range before they threaten critical infrastructure. Thor completely stows in a 20-foot shipping container, which can easily be transported in a C-130. The system can be set up by as few as 2 people within 3 hours and operates from ground power. Thor uses high-power microwaves to cause a counter-electronic effect. A target is identified, the silent weapon discharges in less than a second, and the impact is instantaneous. The Air Force Research Laboratory has already demonstrated Thor's effectiveness during real-world tests where it defeated hundreds of UAS systems.
Uses high-power microwaves to cause a counter-electronic effect. A target is identified, the silent weapon discharges in a nanosecond, and the impact is instantaneous. Right now, it's death and destruction. You know, floods and rain and controlling of the atmospheres above our heads, right? But I'm willing to bet that it's going to come to a head with many, many other options. Including you don't have power in your area, which means that you don't have running water to a lot of people that have power-based water systems, okay? People that aren't off-grid. This is what they're suffering with. This is what they're dealing with, okay? So we're just going to go big on it. Wow, guys. Speed of light. It says also enables experimentation, prototyping, and exploration of material and non-material solutions that align with force capabilities and strategies, which means that it's going through complicated algorithms to determine how to get to the end game, the reward. And we're going to talk about the word reward when it comes to programming and computer systems. AI in itself is not something to be afraid of. Programmable rewards within AI are. And we're going to talk about that when we get into cyber security and cyber news and cyber war. I'll be breaking all that down, okay? So let's just keep it moving. Okay, so let's go back. This is their footage. Take a good look at this vehicle right here. Now, of course, that laser was turned up all the way, okay, versus a lot of the other vehicles that you see in these devastations, right? It's obviously not being high-powered, but it's blanketing, and it's covering large areas, right? To the point where people had to jump out of their houses and jump into the water and drown as a result of not being able to get away from the fire and heat that was immediate. Forest fires don't do that, guys. Natural disasters don't do that, guys. I mean, it can happen if the volcano popped its top. But look at this. You've seen it all, right? This is what people think that, they're going to utilize to come at us with these kind of things. And these are operational command centers that are a part of it. But these are manned. And the ultimate objective is to be unmanned. Okay? See how they just shut down the power everywhere it went? That's what's going on. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Okay? Let's talk facts. Let's talk reality. Let's talk about what's really, really happening. Thor, $18 million, right? Let's see. Microwaves, blah, blah, blah. Why is it important to increase engagement and deterrent devices? Right? Okay. So you get it. You get it. You see what's going on here, right? Now, I don't know if you remember, but in one of my videos, I did show like this crazy intro with like this.
Of everything that stands the end, no safety or surprise the end. I'll never look into your eyes again.
I think you're crazy.
Can you picture what will be? So limitless and free, desperately in need.
Whole entire setup that looks like this and acts like this. So like this was like me like making fun of the whole situation.
Drones are becoming a more pervasive threat.
Did you see how they were all launched out of the back of that truck? That could be any box truck in your neighborhood driving around right now. That could be any disguised looking bus or even a disguised looking ambulance or fire engine where all these things come out and launch automatically. So it seems a little loud. I don't know if I want to play any more of it, but I think you guys are getting the gist.
Every day. The ease of customization that makes them so attractive to hobbyists also appeals to bad actors using them for nefarious means. Unmanned aerial systems are currently being used to surveil operations, destroy infrastructure, and attack personnel. Technology, always moving forward, ensures these vehicles will become faster, more advanced, and more deadly. Small arms have limited range and effectiveness, and larger arms have high cost compared to their target. The Air Force Research
This is
Laboratory...
what they say was the first time they used it, but they definitely used it prior to that. But this is them saying it, stars and stripes. Look how small that unit looks compared to those other units that we were just looking at. Laws. So you got hells and laws coming. Hells and laws are coming. Hells and laws. Now, how does AI know the difference between those words? All right. Get out of here. You guys see what's going on, right? This is real stuff, man. This is Lockheed Martin. And I saved this one for like towards the back end of this because I really wanted you guys to see what's going on here, right? So you see like, it looks like, something you would buy at a hobby shop, and like they're using tanks to shoot it down. They show you something shooting out of it like a laser, but that's not realistic. None of this is accurate. The vehicle and the laser part is accurate, but not the actual laser beam that's shooting out of there. They would never give away their location. That would be a tracer round. You would send that along with projected beams if you were trying to have someone locate your position. Directed energy, harnessing the power of lasers for the 21st century. At sea, in the air, and on the ground, Lockheed Martin is developing laser weapon systems ready to defend U.S. and allied forces. Combined with our platform integration expertise, these systems are designed to defeat a growing range of threats to military forces and infrastructures across all domains. All domains. I feel like I missed stuff, and I should have said more. This is a little bit of an older article, but it breaks down some stuff. It's a damn unmanned surface vessel fleet integration, right? So the whole thing's autonomous. It works by itself, right? Unmanned, long-range unmanned surface vessels. But now they're looking to get into this, like this is what they look like. This could be a tractor trailer sitting in the Walmart parking lot, and you would never know it. You would never know. So you guys are getting it, right? People seeing this? Are people seeing this? Okay. Don't think you got a bunker that they can't find. Don't even think about it. Running and hiding, preparing and prepping, that's one avenue for this. But like when it comes down to it, if we don't stop these systems from, being utilized in any kind of way, right? Here's a shark. Here's a shark. Right? None of it's really exactly what I've been looking for. Again, more like, is it computer related? No, it's not computer related. But it probably is too, right? So then I found this thing. Let me zoom in on this. Respect Systems, the company that developed the device, released a picture on Twitter without the drone's name. right? They don't even want to tell you the name of it. Okay, we mentioned the Saha Expo in Turkey from October 25th to the 28th, right? You see what year this is, right? What year is this? November 1st, 2022. So it's 111222. Very interesting, right? And look at this thing. Just look at this thing, guys. Look at this thing. Doesn't that look very familiar? Doesn't that look very familiar? Like very, very familiar. So that's how I got into this journey, right? But we're going to get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's get in there, right? So they're drones, and these are also drones, right? See the patches they got for their drones. Pay attention now. Okay, pay attention. Pay attention. This one here is Tactical Drone Squadron, 22D, right? Sure. Fool them once, right? Does that make sense? Fool them once. Okay, now he's looking at New York City. That's for 9/11, okay? That's when they came at us heavy and hard, okay? 9/11. And he looks right there as he came down, he looked at the Pentagon. For those that think that they're safe, they're willing to hit our government buildings. And
we know the adversary, we know the threat, and with the same firmness of purpose that any effort against a determined adversary demands, we must get at it and stay at it. Some might ask, how in the world could the Secretary of Defense attack the Pentagon in front of its people? To them I reply, I have no desire to attack the Pentagon. I want to liberate it. We need to save it from
government
itself.
Buildings and our government establishment. Okay, they're willing to destroy the government. We're going to get into that. We're going to break that down. But this episode, somebody had this episode on, and when I saw that he played this episode, I was like blown away. I had to stop everything and go back and check into this because I know what I saw. And go back and check into this because I know what I saw. Okay, so he's looking back and forth at all the targets, right? And now he looks up to the wise owl, right? Moloch. That's where they get their, all their great abilities to do such beautiful, fantastic things across this planet, right? And now, right, he's looking at the entire United States. Conditions, it may be possible to produce some weather effects artificially regardless of pre-existing conditions. Okay. A research paper. This is Air Force 2025, the goal, right? But this was actually written 97. So let's go all the way down here to the bottom because they always put the best stuff at the back, right? Here's the best stuff at the back here. Right, that's all the research. You can go look into that stuff if you want to, right? Here's a bunch of acronyms, right? They got quite a few, right? Quite a few. All right, and then they have these two things that I want to go over with you right here. All right, so now looking at this chart right here, right? They're showing you the projected development back in 97 of where they were at and what it was low, and then its importance became higher as time went on. And you can see 2025 is like the year. Now these all have definitions. Fog and cloud modification, for example, was really important back in 97 because they didn't have as much stealth and laser technology developed. All these other ones weren't there yet. Okay, so they would hide regular forces moving around, right? Regular troop movements and regular activities on the ground, support, different types of military support, right? They could hide it. But if you look, you'll see counter weather, CW, right? Which means that they're battling other weather weapons that are going on, which I believe is like a full-fledged thing. Artificial weather, AW, right? Look at that one. They want that way up there, right? And then you got space weather modification, storm modification, and perception modification, right? So let's get a really good look at this. So you can see. This was their roadmap, guys. From low to high, all right? And now owning the weather. I mean, that's the game. That's the game. Okay? The other map is very interesting. Application to weather modifications, okay? Because from here on out, I'm going to be putting together more and more information. but I'm not going to be specifically citing just do. Okay, when I do a weather modification, weather mod, Minecraft weather mod, right? When I run that episode in this news broadcast, it's going to specifically be about all these weapons and how they're being utilized. Okay, and I'm going to get down to breaking down some footage for you from some people that I highly respect that recorded different radar movements. Okay, we're going to go back to one that had to do with the starting of the Paradise situation in California many years ago, and then we're going to do one from just this most recent hurricane activity with Hurricane Hillary. Okay, just to give you two examples of fire and rain. Okay, so we're going to do that. But first, let's just go ahead and round it off. I don't think we need to talk any more about any of this, right? I told you they went from 535 to 1.1, but I got news for you. That's actually much, much more now. And we're not the only country doing it. Okay, this breaks it down a little bit more. Here's another map that you can look at if you're interested.
$12.9 billion. Notice who the players are, right? You got Lockheed, Raytheon, Northrop, Thales, and BAE Systems. And yeah, this is really, it just goes to show you that there's a lot of money being poured into this technology and capability, okay? Now, you may remember that Dutch Sense, if you don't follow this guy, you need to, but he tracks a lot of wild stuff. Most of the time he is on earthquakes, but he does jump over into some of the other data from time to time, and this was one. On September 9th, 2020, this was a fire that broke out. I want to say it was in Paradise City, but he caught this across the radar screen. Notice that red glare that goes blasting across as the fire ignites. Same location, just happens to be directly on it. Yeah, so they're saying that this fire that took place in Maui is very reminiscent of the same that took place in Paradise City.
But that was Situation Rep reporting on Dutch Sense. Two people that I've already talked about.
All right, well, today is
so now we're going to get into it.
2023, Sunday, 6 p.m. We have a temperature of 67 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles.
This is the dissipation of
humidity is
Hillary.
99%. The dew point is 67 degrees, and we have a barometric pressure of 29.47 or 998 millibar. All right, so all day today, starting at about 7:10 a.m. is when the rain began here. So far, up until right now, we've got about 1 3/4 inches, just a hair over that. So it's been raining steady pretty much all day, off and on, sometimes a little harder, sometimes a little less. But looking here at the Doppler map, we can see what's happening. The transmitter out near Edwards Air Force Base, which is KEYX. You can see the far-reaching capability of that transmitter. It's actually sawing off these heavy cells right here over the Ventura County area near Santa Paula, and along the 126 that hooks up with the Interstate 5 here. That's a nice drive all the way out to Ventura. Anyway, we can see here, this WSRAD has quite an effect on the precipitation around the Central California area, carving up the precipitation, evaporating it with the high-power microwave capability there. And down here we see the Santa Ana transmitter, which is KSOX in the Santa Ana Mountains between Corona and Irvine. You can see that there, right atop that mountain there. And we see the evaporation pattern there, the pie-shaped cutout. So yes, weather manipulation is real. Satellites with
look at the square line.
Laser and microwave is all doable. It's been happening for decades. This is how we communicate with spacecraft and so forth. We use a microwave, and certainly lasers are part of the mix as well. Lasers have been part of the Department of Defense for decades, since the 1960s.
So I want you guys to know that this was an interesting episode to put together. I'd like to put together stuff that's relevant to what I'm interested in, but also when it has to do with real science and technology, especially military stuff. Like these are things that I'm interested in. So as we round out this last episode, I want you guys to know that it's not about directed energy weapons. It's about total control and domination of the Earth, its resources, its population. Okay, so you see that nanoclouds were listed on there as well. So let's get into this one, because this
Manned aviation system designed for long-range monitoring and surveillance. The system includes the Shark UAV, a gyro-stabilized camera system, a powerful catapult launcher, a ground control station, and a tracking antenna. The assembly is quick, and only 2 people are needed for launch. Shark is a multifunctional unmanned system that combines field-proven technologies and rich experience of UAV's application. With a communication range of up to 80 kilometers and a flight duration of 4 hours, the Shark UAV is a highly effective tool for long-range reconnaissance.
I bet it is.
The Shark UAS is perfectly suited for a wide range of applications. The 30x optical zoom allows for tracking moving objects and transmitting clear imagery from distances of over 1,000 meters. After completing the mission, the drone performs a landing using a reusable parachute. Shark UAV. A smart solution for your missions.
Yeah, so I just want you guys to understand it. Like, this is the beginning of the end. This is how this works, okay? So this system, it has a militarized function as of now on the record, but they're manufacturing this. This is a company. This is what's going on. These things that are being manufactured are coming to a town near you, coming to a police force near you, coming to an operations command center near you. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into that. So, like, you know, where we're going to go next with this story is, you know, and we're not going to do it in this episode, but we're going to get all into the electrical smart grid and all that stuff, because it's important that you guys understand all those different things so that you know what is important when it comes to protecting you and your family. We're going to get into all that good stuff, okay? So I do want to... So I will say this, right? With this particular opinions that I have concerning these issues, right? They use a lot of funny names, guys, like hells. Like, we're going to bring you all different kinds of hells, okay? And laws, okay? AI is going to read these words and apply them correctly according to the rewards that are programmed into the AI. Like I said, we're going to get into that too. Okay, so everybody has an opinion. I don't want to get into opinions so much, but I will say that this particular situation right here, now this is something, you know, like, you've got hells, you've got laws, and you also have, what's that say? Amos, right? And then they said Thor, and then Shark, right? But Amos is interesting because it's visions that he had, right? And there's all kinds of stuff in here. And the thunders from Jerusalem, right? So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you something really quick, right? It says, what does it say? And he said, the Lord will roar from Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the habitations of the shepherds shall mourn, and the top of Carmel shall wither. Now, for those that don't know, Carmel is the mind's eye. Okay, so these technologies are going to be used against us in many, many ways. One of the acronyms was nanoclouds, in case you didn't pay attention to that. Okay, so we're not going to get into this too much. I'm not going to go too crazy with this, but I do want to just, you know, like, put this up here just, you know, for shits and giggles, because it kind of breaks down the burden bearer Amos, okay, and what Amos is all about. And if you guys want to pause that and take a minute to read that, that's up to you. But we're going to keep it moving, guys. Thor, right? Thor was not just a movie. It wasn't just a movie, guys, right? It is God of the Viking warrior, okay? His strength and direct response to problems appealed across the spectrum of Viking age social classes, okay? There's all kinds of information about finding out who Thor really was and what that situation concerns with. But what I'm going to say is this, is that if there's been previous civilizations and previous resets and previous, you know, building up of technologies and all this stuff, right? If this is a possibility, this is a strong possibility that our history's been hidden, our culture's been destroyed, right? But if you look at the gods of the time in mythology, and supposing that they were real, they could have some pretty amazing powers if they were utilizing this kind of technology. I really want you guys to think about that as we bring this episode to a close. And I want to thank you for tuning in. In case you didn't notice, I was in the chats for anyone that was watching live. I was in the chats and I was reporting back and forth to people. But this is very hard to do, guys. I mean, this is not a simple process, and I appreciate your support. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. And, you know, like, do your own homework, do your own research, and produce your own content in your own creative way. We need every warrior that we can get. Every single warrior. So we're also going to talk about things like camouflage and communications during wartime. These are all important issues, and we're going to break it all down, guys. You guys are going to get it. You guys are going to get it. Well, anyway, thanks for watching.
Right